We've alluded to there, Vinny. Bit of a roster change coming into today. The organisation announced on Twitter that they are going to be moving Quixie onto the back seat, the sixth sub. Well, not the sixth sub, but you get me, the sub of the roster. And I think that this is a well-earned spot for Pinku, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. As Vinny was alluding to, statistically, in the very limited player time that he has had, has been very, very strong. Yeah, Quixie, unfortunately, his rating wasn't amazing, and perhaps some other reasoning behind the scenes as to why his position has been compromised. So looking for, in my eyes, a rejuvenated Supernova tonight, especially on attack. Their late round attack for me has been so underwhelming. I'm not saying that it's the worst in the league, because it certainly isn't, but in terms of expectation for a team that has now actually quite a bit of experience, especially spearheaded by Prez, we need to see that late round efficiency really improve tonight.
Do we see it improve, Vinny? Do you think that this kind of straight swap and maybe, I think we also saw Dirty's statement, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but basically just saying it's not up to par. You know, his performance on the team has not been good enough, and as part of one of the leaders on the roster, he needs to step up in that department. Does it feel like there could be a turn for Supernova here?
I think the extra firepower is definitely going to help. I think it's going to be more of a knock-on effect. If they have much stronger earlier rounds, then perhaps those late round executes will be a little bit easier. They might be in more of a man advantage, and I think Pinku can definitely bring that. I don't see him as like a super aggressive player though. I don't think he's like a super hard entry or anything like that. He's definitely more of an aimer and can really take, when he has like the time to take the duels that he wants, he's very good at that kind of thing. And yeah, as we saw in his first playday against GG, he played a very good game. He was definitely by far the best player on the team. And then obviously once Prez came back and regained his spot, Supernova actually struggled a lot more. So maybe Pinku is the answer.
Could he be the saviour for Supernova? Honestly, from what we've seen from Pinku all throughout his time in the OCE League, I think that he could be an addition that could really bolster this roster. But there's a lot of other elements that have just been going wrong for Supernova, so we do hope that that can kind of get tidied up in the shortest way possible. Let's go ahead and start talking about their opponents for the night. ANTIC, again, very similar storyline coming into this stage. A couple of roster changes that we've continued to question, guys. Obviously, the additions of Lunchbox and Jakena. It just hasn't gelled the way we'd hoped. This, you got to remember, for those that are watching at home, this was the second-rated team coming into this stage. Now, they did lose Player and Cairo to the second-best team of this stage now, so maybe there's a conversation to be had there. But the core of this team has been together for quite some time. Chef, Jeff, and Hunter go all the way back to last year. Where are they for you? I know they're sitting up decently in the ladder. They're feeling pretty confident, but do you place them there realistically?
Nah, unfortunately the standings are pretty deceptive. ANTIC, much like Supernova, to be honest, they're again probably performing below expectation and what the team appears on paper. The reason I say that is ANTIC's 2 wins are against Odium. Odium are by far and away the worst team in the league at the moment, so every team should be beating them, so that's kind of wiped out. Their other win was against CS. Now, it was a confident 7-0, but CS, again, have been so turbulent that it's difficult to have a read on that. Their losses were against Outlast and Chiefs. Now, we kind of pitched them heading into this stage as being on par with Chiefs. That should have been a competitive match. Best of 1, 7-4, so not the end of the world, but there's question marks over this roster tonight. If they get a confident win across the line, which I think they probably should go in as relatively firm favourites, then we can start to hype them up a little bit more going into playoffs. Lose this, the team implodes. Yeah,
and I think that the whole league almost implodes at that point, because you really have a clearly defined top 2 teams in GG and Chiefs, and then it's like, okay, well, after Outlast's lost last week, but what happens? What happens when we head into playoffs? So I really hope, Vinny, that going into this game, ANTIC can, well, actually both teams can get their stuff together, because I mean, like, just the stats alone maybe for Supernova are a little more damning than ANTIC, but it's not exactly fantastic for ANTIC either.
No, I mean, they're maintaining a 50% attacking win rate, which isn't an easy thing to do in the current meta, so not too bad on that regard, especially in comparison to Supernova, who are obviously struggling a lot more in that regard. Also, I want to shout out Hunter really quick. We just saw his stats in that last screen. On a team that's sort of performing quite average, he's actually well and beyond what his teammates are able to accomplish. I know he's one of the callers as well on that team, so doing a good job from him. But again, you're going to need a lot more of those players to step up if this team's going to have any chance. As Gaz mentioned, we put them in that sort of top 3, top 4 category. At the moment, to be honest, I don't think many teams are playing anywhere near that level.
No.
And I think, realistically, it's not about ANTIC sort of playing down, because we know they have the talent to play well. It's not about them playing down to the teams below them. It's about them elevating their own gameplay.
Elevating their gameplay is probably the best way to sum up tonight's match. Both teams have to elevate. Both teams have to step up to the level that we know, because obviously second and third best team out of stage one, both of these teams where they went head-to-head, and it's just a bit of a shame to see that it's kind of crumbled a little bit. Oh, how the Titans have fallen, if you will. But let's go ahead and move on to the conversation about the vetoes. Guz, do you have anything for me, map-wise? Do you have anything that you would like to see?
I'd love to play dumb, Rob, but I did already see what the map was.
Thanks,
but I do have a point to bring up when we see the eventual deciding map, which is Nighthaven Labs. SUPERNOVA have played in the last 2 play days, so there's absolutely no excuse for ANTIC to go into this match blind. They have a read. SUPERNOVA played a ton of rounds. In fact, in both matches, it was an 8-7 CS, then a 7-5 lost Prodigy, so they should know how SUPERNOVA have played every site so far. And if they've got a couple of variants, they've probably showed them. So if ANTIC have done their homework, they should be well rewarded. Ultimately for me, this game comes down to attack win rate. Sure, it looked pretty decisive there in the graphic, but I will note, ANTIC farmed attacking rounds on border in one match, and then they had that game against Odium where they were able to get 4 on club. So it's actually a bit of a deceptive stat when you look at the matchups and the maps themselves. And with SUPERNOVA, as we've seen already, their late round attacks being so weak, for me, that's the big difference maker. And Labs, fortunately, I think, in my opinion, is a map that really rewards good attacking teams as well.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that, and I think that's definitely going to favour ANTIC.
You said you agreed that like really quite firmly. Is he that guy?
He actually hit the nail on the head.
Wow,
that's great analysis. Yeah, I agree.
That feels good.
Because another person that usually sits on this desk thinks Nighthaven is extremely defender-sided. I won't mention who, but I'm not in total agreement with that. So yeah, I think this map pick will favour ANTIC. Obviously, they have a lot more homework that they could catch up on and have a look at. And yeah, I think they're probably a more structured team when it comes to those late round executes. Yeah,
well, Titans of last stage, second and third, both of these two teams placed. They're now struggling to get points on the board. This is a crucial play day for both of them as they try to elevate to another level. It is time for us to get underway with our game. It's Dev and Xenox.
Thank you very much, Rob. I think we got a normal throw for once, Jake.
Yeah, that's the nicest thing he's ever said to me. By the way, also for Vinny, finally throwing me under the bus. It's about time.
He didn't even name you.
He's learning the game, though. He's learning the game because I threw him accidentally under the bus before.
Accidentally?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I will say, though, in response to Vinny, maybe go back, VOD review the SI Grand Final.
Yeah.
Final map.
Nighthaven has been defender side in the past, but we'll see if it is today. As Rob said, second versus third from last stage. These were Titans of the region, but they have very much fallen out of favor. Both teams really struggling here in stage 2. They've been shown up by up-and-comers like Chiefs and Outlast and, of course, GG. But I think this is going to be a very balanced game. I reckon the 36-64 might not even do it justice. I honestly believe that SUPERNOVA have a look in on this match, especially bringing in Pinku as that sub.
Yeah, I think bringing in someone like Pinku surely coming into a team where he will feel the confidence, like, oh, you guys need me. You guys are crawling back to all Pinku.
I did ace 1v5 against GG.
We almost beat GG with me. It's fine. I guess I'll play. Look, they made the right decision. I think I said it last week. To be fair, it was probably between Palarazi and Quixie, and I do hope internally it was kind of like said that way as well, because Palarazi probably needs that little push to be like, hey, look, we're making changes, you could be next kind of thing. So big game coming up. I agree. I think, you know, the 64-36 split, you could bring that in, tighten it up a little closer to that 50-50 margin. I am going to be curious to see if SUPERNOVA have got the capabilities on the defense to get out to a good lead here. 4-5 rounds, probably what I'm expecting for them from them. And we were actually speaking a little bit while the desk was talking about ANTIC. Chef Jeff having, I think, arguably the worst stage we've seen from Jeffy in quite some time. So he needs a bit of a fire up the bum. Hunt has been great. He has been sensational. Lunchbox struggling.
Yeah, look, Lunch and Jakenna, similar players, have these hot and cold moments. But for me, I do want to hop on, not to try and, only focus on positives, because there have been plenty of negatives for both of these teams. But Hunza has, especially last week, looked unironically like one of the best players that we've seen in OCE that hasn't been on one of those top teams. And honestly, if he can keep up the form that we saw from him last week, I wouldn't be surprised if Hunter starts getting offers on real serious contenders like your Chiefs, or, I mean, maybe even one day at GG.
Yeah, no, he's having a great stage, and it's all about just building on to that. Intriguingly, though, I guess someone must have been listening to Davey last week when it came to Blitz on Nighthaven Labs, and he was like, oh, no, actually, I preferred the Blitz. Well, the Blitz gets banned out here by Supernova, allowing the Montang, and Hunter's just immediately like, play Montang.
He's a very good shield player, and it's funny because Hunter has had this reputation, OCE, for being a really solid shield player long before he made a name for himself by joining and, I guess, reaching the top of OCE on a team like ANTIC and formerly Man LFO. And the fact that we see him on shields, that makes me scared because he's so good even without the shields. If he's going to bring it out, it means that he's really got something in mind. He's not the kind of player that's just going to play it for the hell of it.
I think there's certainly a lot of flexibility when it comes to that Montang and the way you want to play it. You can push blue a little bit easier with those footholds, extended shield. You can kind of walk through. You can play the con meeting side as well. Command center is really all about this kind of horizontal. Can you get a multi-level push where you open up IT, play from rafters, get a push coming from the other side, and really just those defenders that are on site get kind of like, which way do I look?
Yeah.
There's just so many different angles. And if you don't do that correctly, then it ends up being this very one-dimensional push. So straight away, I mean, again, default's always going to be open up IT breach, but can you get pressure elsewhere on the map?
Just to take a step back for a second, obviously new face for both of these teams. Man LFO previously was what ANTIC were known as. Hold that thought for a second, because some very aggressive play here from ANTIC as Hunter moves in top blue, as you said, maybe where that Monty wants to establish himself. But meanwhile, Box does lose his life. Finally, we see an aggressive breach, but okay, not a full opening here. A successful juggle from the Kaid. There was an intention here from ANTIC to go for something fast, and it really has stalled out.
This is going to be really tricky now, though, because it hasn't opened up fully. You haven't got any other kind of hard breach either that can, you know, like a, for example, Habana.
Not even secondary team can open it.
And
either.
even if you did have those, James, it's suddenly a risk factor because the defense can see you through the line of wall that has been opened up. This is actually a really good start for probably both teams, though. That mirror and now rafters control for ANTIC. Yes, they've lost a player and they've lost a hard breach. This is good positioning though for Hunter.
In theory, this is like an unlosable round for Supernova. You got numbers advantage, and there is 0 hard breach.
Well, there's other ways into the map, though.
There are.
Rotate off of IT breach. You're not getting it opened up. Move away. You've got good positioning towards rafters established by your Montang. Play off that. So really good from ANTIC to understand immediately. First win con, gone. Let's move on to the second one.
So it's time to go fishing here, and it works out for Scars. Fishes Palarasi on site there. The Deimos so powerful on that vertical game. A C4 comes out, but thankfully for Chef, it's a miss.
Where's the last time we saw Yana?
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. EMP's on her as well. God, the days where you pick her for the nades and for that gun. There is a way into this, though, as the Monsi marches on forward from blue. Line of sight, and Jay Kenner does find his pick, looking for another one. Pinku wins his fight, the super sub to come to play, but low HP on Pinku now.
Don't pull out that pistol. Reloading. I'm just probably tempted.
He needs to open this window for his teammate.
30 seconds, still plenty of time here. Time for Chef to start pushing in. Obviously, Scars, 1 death mark remaining could be big. Should get the free kill, and does. And advantage still for ANTIC. And Bappin, big kill onto Chef Jeff, who can just not get into the game. And it's a big kill. Suddenly, Hunter now the only one left standing on that shield play. It was starting to look good for ANTIC, but ultimately, credit to Supernova. They had to find different avenues to win that round defensively because they were getting pressured from multiple angles. Their mirror window over towards rafters got dealt with pretty early into the round as well. That was actually a pretty good round of Siege on command and server when typically it gets played in this very defaulty way. That changed because of IT breach not getting opened up.
Yeah, and credit to ANTIC. They found a way back into the round, utilizing this IT breach position and the Deimos. I mean, that kill from below, and then Scars finding that pick on the player close left of his entry from top blue. That was pivotal, but then Pinku finds 3 kills, and we had a swing from one of the other players on site as well to get rid of that IT player. So great response from Supernova, where ANTIC did manage to get themselves back into what was looking like being an unwinnable round.
Yeah, I think it's also the kind of round you can certainly find the positives and you can probably also find the negatives. It's just one of those sort of rounds. But if you
hard breach was, let's not talk about that.
Exactly.
We can worry about that later.
Yeah, but if you end up in a situation like that where you're ANTIC and the whole hard breach and IT setup has just systematically fallen apart, their ability to then adapt, rotate, find different avenues so quickly into the round, play off your Montang, change your win con, was good. So that's a good sign, but ultimately defense Supernova do prevail opening round, and they will now head to the basement. ANTIC once again will double down with the Montang on Hunter. That's one thing I kind of wanted to chat to you about, James, though. Hunter has been so good statistically this stage, as good as he can be on this shield op. I feel like I'd want a gun in his hand.
You want a gun in his hand. You want him to be taking fights. Yeah, it's such a hard call to make. I just trust Hunter's decision-making. I trust him. If he believes that he needs to run that shield, then it's going to be helpful. He needs to make sure he doesn't get flanked by Bappen here. Doesn't seem to have info, but he's not overextending. I think he's about to spot Bappen. He's likely to... Oh, no, the timing could not be worse. Bappen is going to get a freebie. That's a huge mistake there from Hunter, a player usually so consistent.
Yeah, that is just so unfortunate. One mistake that he hopefully won't make again for the rest of this particular half for Hunter. And that's a really big error now for ANTIC, right? When last round I could kind of find ways where it's like, oh, okay, well, they didn't get hard bridge opened up, but they can do this and that. That is just a straight loss. You're down a player, you lost your shield player, you lost your best player.
You also lost your hard breach, by the way. You lost the tin can openers, and now Boxer's died
and
too.
now Boxer's dead, yeah.
Okay, 3v5 basement with no hard breach. Good luck, mate.
Yeah, good luck. And honestly, that's a credit to SUPERNOVA, though. Aggressive on the defense rather than just playing like 5 basement. You don't want to do that on labs. You want to roam up above. Something ANTIC should have been a little bit more prepared for. Pinku loses the 1v1 with Jay Kenner. Salvages a little bit, 90 seconds in the round, but it's going to have to be brute force now for SUPERNOVA. For ANTIC, sorry.
And this is where if you're SUPERNOVA, you go back and you play the safest positions possible. However, they still have some roamers at large. They do have to just contend with that. Make sure that Bappen doesn't flank too early. And President is also here in storage, and he's alone. There's no refrag potential. There's no vertical holes for his teammates on site to support him. That makes things really awkward. Bappen wants to go for a flank, but he needs to make sure not to overextend himself. To be frank here, SUPERNOVA, even though they have a winning position, the individual players themselves are in bad positions. And they should be able to be free kills here, especially President in storage.
This is soaking up some time. Bappen does find a kill, and I thought he was always going to be that linchpin, being second floor, coming down to first. They probably weren't as aware. They were certainly hunting for President. Bappen does eventually lose his life, maybe an overextension, as President's still stuck over towards storage. But with time running out, they have to hit site. Good kill for Chef Jeff to open up site, getting rid of Palarazi. Prez has got to get on the move and now go help out Dirty because it's 2-on-1 in favor of ANTIC on site.
And Prez doesn't even have any vert to deny this plant. Chef is going to be able to get it down. He fakes it a few times. Eventually, the C4 comes out. President realizes, now I have to get into plant denial.
That denies default, though, so that's not too bad. And with that position known, ANTIC need to move around, and they walk into Dirty. So credit to Prez for holding that, but now he's going to rotate back down through Animus to take the 1v1. Scars has got the kit, force him to stick, then move off. This is really nice enough for President.
He needs to go for the kill here. He doesn't have time to go for the defuse.
Nice done.
And President does get back to site to save the day in the 1v1. A round that should never have been that close eventually is won by SUPERNOVA.
Hunter, what's your back, mate?
Bappen's calling him out.
Bappen knows. Look, I mean, honestly, I think credit to President, because that's a tricky position to stay in through storage where everyone's essentially trying to clear you out, hunt you down, you're getting shot at. But by holding that position, he's actually able to watch down towards default, open it up with the Nitrocell. That just at the last second forces ANTIC off the plant. They have to move around. Dirty then gets a kill. Then there's so little time remaining. So it just kept the round chaotic. But again, you're being frank. I'm going to be frank. I felt like that was a round that shouldn't have come down to being that close.
No, like as soon as there's a 5v3 hard breach is all dead, like SUPERNOVA, their chance of winning that round should go up to like 95%. It should not come down to a 1v1.
Let's fuck on.
Excuse the language.
No, I mean, we're Aussies. I feel like we get a pass in this league.
I apparently get plenty of passes.
You do. You've had a passes for a long. Have you actually been on time to a single call time?
I was today.
No, you weren't. I was here 6 minutes late, and I was here before you.
No, I got here at the same time as Rob.
Yeah, so is that on time even though it's 20 minutes late?
Absolutely. If you speak to Rob, it is.
Oh, fair enough. On time is 20 minutes late, right? That's how it works. You have a different call time to everyone
I would
else.
say for me, on time is at 20 minutes past.
Yep.
And then being early is 10 past, which is what I was today. So I was early.
Wow. I'm impressed by you, Jake. And we have confirmation from the project manager. That is indeed how it works. So, okay, we haven't had much time to talk about it yet because I wanted to get it out earlier, but I wanted to just talk about the head-to-head history between these teams. Obviously, ANTIC formerly Man LFO, SUPERNOVA formerly Odium in Stage 1. 3 out of 5 core players still retained on both teams. And in the regular stage, SUPERNOVA won. And then when it came to playoffs, that was when ANTIC really stepped up. And they won 2-0. So it does feel like there is a back and forth between these two teams. Like we said, second and third place in Stage 1. ANTIC making it to that grand final, but not being able to take down GG in it. I really do feel like this is becoming a little bit of a rivalry between these two teams. And we see that with the players engaging each other in the old chat. Bappen, obviously calling out Hunter. These guys know each other very well.
So control storage, third round. This is the tertiary site when it comes to Night Haven Labs. Most importantly, defense, hold up above, deny the vert. Biggest thing that you want as well, over towards IT, can kind of look in towards storage. There's that window that can be used by the attacking team, but it's a bit of a trap until you clear above. Kind of aggressive right now from Lunchbox, actually. Yeah, really over-aggressive from Lunchbox. I feel like that's just probably the kind of player that he is, though. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. Fortunately, Hunter's there to play off him, get the kill onto Prez.
It was a nice idea. I'm just glad that, yeah, Antic, like you said, had multiple players in position. Tended to go for a plant.
Can't plant yet, surely.
There are a lot of ways it can be denied. But they're confident they can make it work here. Sheffy has to be really careful. Antic is going to confirm that plan. I don't know where the control below was contested from Supernova, but it was lacking. Palarati loses his fight as well, all up to Pinku. 1v4 with the Monty still up. Only one impact to speak of. Nothing going to be for it for Supernova. Good round on the board for Antic. They finally get their heads in the game.
Yeah, I mean, talk about just brute force your way in towards storage. It's completely just negating really any kind of vert play. Definitely feel like Supernova weren't set up in the correct manner to deny that plant. But if you're going to lose a side on Labs as defense, that's certainly the one that you can kind of give up.
Yeah, very true. I was a little bit disappointed. I don't know. I didn't manage to catch whether Antic actually cleared down below or whether they just took the gamble that there was no one there. But yeah, usually the way that
I feel like you don't usually hold in storage though. You might have one, but you don't typically want to hold directly in there because it's so close to the exterior.
The usual way to play that bomb site is that you do a bomb site sandwich. You have people on the top floor, you have people on the bottom floor, or usually just one player, usually a C4 or a
you can have a couple over towards control, which is I think exactly the way that Supernova were playing it, but those players towards control all lost their ones. So you lost the horizontal fight, you didn't have the vert.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a poor defense from Supernova, and credit to Antic. 1 and 2 for Hunter. The influence from the shield is certainly prevalent, but again, I still feel like you're lacking a bit of that firepower. Fortunately, others have been able to stand up. We know Scars is having a really, really good stage right now. He's 5 and 2. JKenna also performing in this game. Lunchbox needs to find a way, though, to start winning some of these entries, or maybe just fall back, play a different role, play the hard breach, do something, you know, where you can kind of play off of others. Because 0 and 3, again, another, you know, poor performance. I mean, I don't want to be Mr. Negative, but it's becoming a trend, unfortunately. We're now into Play Day 5, James, and it's not getting any better.
The biggest concern for me about Lunchbox is the fact that he's been first picked 2 rounds now.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that he's not getting kills, because he is secondary hard breach. Like, he doesn't need to be the main entry fragger. That's not the way he's positioned on this lineup. But he needs to make sure that he's not picked early.
He just goes for these peaks and then gets caught in an angle. Pinku losing his life to Chef. That is a wonderful kill. Pinku just standing still, not...
Look at Chef's reaction on the cam.
Absolutely aware at all that he was vulnerable. Lunchbox maybe wanted to swing in towards Rafters. They're super aggressive. Well, Salma's going to get caught by the my magnet. The others, though, will not, and he can put some pressure in towards this wall. Hunter making his way up towards Rafters as well. So good control for Antic off the back of this opening kill. And they're forcing Supernova back into sight. JKenna gets aggressive towards blue. President caught completely unaware. Why is he running down that hallway?
Great question, but he's about to bait another kill as well. As the aggressive push from Dirty. Another one from JKenna. They all fall to pieces. Everyone tries to refrag him. And it's just up to Bappin now. A nice shot here or there. Still won't save this round. Box finally gets on the board. And Sheffy is going at it in chat, having a go at Pinku. Can't park there, mate, he says. Antic have tied the score.
Yeah, look, that was a really bad round for Supernova, but credit to Antic. They were able to just pick things apart really comfortably. That Rafters control so seamless with the Montang as well. Dealt with the mirror so quickly. The IT breach, then the free kill onto Pinku. Yeah, I mean, he's just sitting there, and you got to be so careful of your surroundings, especially with IT breach through the doorway as well, looking towards site. Yeah, and this is... At that point in the round, that's just a team that's looking to try and plug holes. You know, like one person dies, I'm going to try and take that spot, see if I get the refrag, and it just snowballs. And credit to JKenna, he switched on tonight, 7 and 2, having a really, really standout performance. Lunchbox gets a kill that round, and that ends up being, I think, a really crucial turning point in this first half now. Because the opening 2 rounds go the way of Supernova, Defense Labs, we get it. Tertiary Psych goes the way of Antic, but then they just absolutely decimate on the primary of Command Server.
Came down to that opening pick. The first time we've seen Antic get that opening pick this game. Now we're seeing An interesting and exciting lineup teased out here by ANTIC as we go down to the basement. There is quite a heavy roam game going on. It's not every day you get to see the warehouse itself reinforced here, and the double hard breach denial here, and the Kaid and the Bandit. Also curious to see the sentry brought out from Palarazi. I mean, there are so many good operators up that I wouldn't have mind seeing. Melusi we've seen before, Mute we've seen before.
I think Sentry's good here if you go Shield and you go Nitrocell, if that's what he's opted for.
I believe he has.
I think that's one of the more common combos when it does come to Sentry. This is going to be just a brute force rush, play off the smoke with the glass, go for a quick plant, hope for the fact they're not looking to play sight and they're going more for the roam, which is what teams typically do. And Chef is just going to get this to stick. Dirty does actually get the kill, so Chef doesn't get out, but Scars is in a really good position here to deny any kind of retake. President gets a kill onto Hunter. Not sure how the Monties actually died there in that situation.
He jumped into storage and took a 1v1.
Yeah, that's not what you want to do there.
I mean, at the very least, the Monty taking that 1v1 prevented the vertical plant denial, but it comes down to MF Scars and Box trying to be here big in the plant denial.
They're going to lose this.
All up to Box now in the 1v2, and this is so winnable now for
Has he got an angle from here?
There is an angle. He's going to be able to see it, but the C4 comes through from Palarazi. It's the Sentry C4 you called out in prep, Jake. Okay. ANTIC, nice attempt there, but overrun.
Just play the Montang on the plant. Like, you can just play him over towards Breach. Why is he walking into storage?
The reason why he's playing in storage is just to try and distract the storage player from denying the plant vertically. I understand that, but you're losing a 1v1 as a Monty.
I'd send anyone else up there and have the Monty play for the horizontal retake where they know full well they're going to have to clear those players, especially the Glaz, so you're going to send bodies there, which is exactly what SUPERNOVA did. So, look, I'm not too surprised when I said coming into this game it's kind of 50-50. That I sit back in the the fourth round was, won very convincingly by ANTIC on a very good defensive-sided site on this map, but then to get in the fifth round, that plant, take basement the way that they did, and then they just could not hold it, was just bizarre. So, look, we're 1 for 1, I guess, on bizarre moments from these two teams. And SUPERNOVA get a fourth round here. That's job done on defense, Labs.
Yeah, absolutely. ANTIC really feel that pressure now. They need to tie this up 3-3.
Thorn. I wonder if President is sensing if they can just get some Razor Blooms over towards blue, deny any kind of fast push with like a Montang, because the Montang has had some presence there. Maybe play off of that. They bring the mirror again, Bandit and Kaid. So I think the goal will be, can we keep IT closed? But then you've got potential for someone like ANTIC to go storage, kind of deal with that from below.
Well, at least for ANTIC, they have a lot of options. They've brought a lot more redundancy from Hard Breach than we've seen from them yet. We've got the 2 tin can openers plus the Ace plus the Thermite. Thing is, last time they won this bomb site, it came down to an early opening pick for Chef. They can't bank on that happening again.
And pressure over towards blue, so they had 2 big portions of the map. This is a good drone, by the way, from Lunchbox. And it's gone. Cast a curse on the drone, apparently.
So, Bandit is in position to go for the juggle here.
No one below, by the way.
Oh, no, this is not going to work.
No one below. Not one person.
Yeah, I don't know what the plan is to counter this. We didn't even
J-Ken is going now. Like, J-Ken could have easily been down in towards storage and putting pressure on with the skeleton key.
There's 100 ways you can counter that Bandit juggle.
Wow. I mean, again, though, free rafters control. Mirror has been opened up, though, so that's just going to be good information now from Hunter. Eventually, IT does get opened up. Minute 40. Lunchbox wanting to get more of an avenue in as well with these Salmas. Open up this wall even more so.
Yeah, the breach is going to be good here. These players on site for SUPERNOVA are about to feel extremely exposed, and President on that Thorn actually is running the shotgun. So he's going to try and hold on to this top blue position behind his shield for as long as possible.
Prez. This is so risky.
Cannot win against the Monty with this shotgun.
Well, that's first Razor Bloom just wasted. Look, it's not the best piece of gadget utility, I'm not going to lie. Box gets an opening pick on the Palarazi, huge for the confidence. Oh, he's expecting one to be outside the... Like, that is such a ballsy play from President, and it does not work out. Bappen should get a freebie here. The timing is impeccable. Bappen, look behind you. There's one outside. He's behind you. You know there's one outside. He's going to deny the plant. Gets the kill onto Hunter. Plays the shield, but Chef gets the headshot.
Oh my god. It's absolute calamity on the bomb site. Numbers still up though for ANTIC, but Pinku's here and he's got that slug shotty. Good for one. Dirty position revealed. As Supernova have been pushed back into the other bomb site. There is a way back into it, though,
Oh
for
my
ANTIC.
God, Pinku.
Not if Pinku steps up.
So, and Dirty's got a nitro here as well. 25 seconds, not a lot of time. Box is low. He's going to have to push in. Scar's already towards IT. They're playing off each other, but you got to clear 2 players that could be anywhere at this point.
ACOG for Pinku. Nice shot from Dirty. Good refrag. Scars v the super sub. He doesn't have that diffuser. He's got to cross the map. Bit of damage from Pinku. And Scar's going to cross immediately back over. Wow, he goes for the close angle. This is a risky plant position. But Pinku is not going to go push for it.
He doesn't know
He
it's
pushes
so
too late. He should have the advantage in this next fight, though.
Well, he's trapped
It's
him
up
now.
to Scars to try and hide in that corner.
He's trapped
and
him
win
here.
on the swing. Pinku goes for it. He sees a bit of info on the first swing. And the prone position, he'll surely get him.
Down.
A little love tap puts him in the dirt. And the round is clutched up for Pinku, the super sub being the clutch master again.
Well, I think at first he probably wasn't sure exactly where he was planting, but once he did know, he had him locked and dead to rights, and he's played that well. Rather than just like pushing through the doorway, he goes for the long approach from rafters, which was, yeah, really nice. There was a brief moment though going prone.
Bro.
Yeah, weird half.
Yeah.
Probably the last couple of rounds of that half, because it looked like almost a shoo-in that ANTIC were going to probably win that round.
Yeah.
And then just the most bizarre play with the whole Montang situation and Hunter. And Bappin on the rotate up through blue. Because once President threw his life away, I thought that was it. Here, I'm just thinking, well, at this point, you've lost.
Yeah. And Bappin really should have died here. Like, I cannot believe the timing he got.
Yeah, the timings. He's on drone.
Oh, God.
Now, provided, of course, team communication, but I imagine Bappin knows there's one outside on the exterior of blue. Because
I don't think
the
he
swing
did,
from
'cause he would have
President,
taken
well,
that fight.
President knows there's one there. He shot at him.
Yeah. I don't know. It was
So
very...
I don't. We'll never know if he actually knew there was one out there or not. Because I feel like that's so risky. If you know there's one out there, to then just push through it at any point they could swing behind you.
Sorry, look at this in the pit. We got the Kaid and the Clash both hiding in this round. ANTIC think they are so funny. It could work. The Kaid is going to be hidden and the Clash successfully. So no Thatcher picked, which would have countered both of them. And no direct Clash counters as well. The Clash is going to counter that Monty very nicely. The Kaid Bandit combo is going to be very difficult when all you've got is Ace Thermite. And we got Tubrow as well. I mean, this is all about Harbreach denial and all about preventing that Monty from walking in.
I mean, you can still deal with the Kaid. Again, I think you just go down below and you shoot Claw, and then you eventually get Breach opened up. It's going to be intriguing to see Polarizio on the Montang, because Hunter actually played well on the Monty for the most part in that half. And now he's on the Clash. I still just want to get a gun in his hand.
Here comes the Vert. And they figured out, oh, this is a Kaid, isn't it? Where is it, guys?
Actually, where is it?
You can't really get a drone in there very easily. Well, there are a couple of places you can put them. There's one.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's not going to get the second one, so it looks like they're doubling down. There is a safer spot to put that Kaid on the other side
I'm surprised
of
there's
the wall.
no like pressure here from ANTIC, knowing full well the only way they're really going to be able to counter this, we hit it, is to have someone go below. It's pretty aggressive. So Clash very much here to deal with the Montang. Now, Polarizzi does need to be careful that he doesn't get his life chipped away by contesting too much. Soto Canister as well, dealt with. I mean, so Pinku doing his job well here on the Buck.
I would have liked to see a better claw there. That wall should not have been open. There is a way to put that claw in sight that protects that wall. It's much harder to take down. This Monty's taken quite a lot of damage already, and they're hoping that when he flinches that his feet will be exposed and Jake will be able to get a shot off.
Great nitro from Jake.
That's huge. Bappin taken down.
Shield for a player. I think I'll lose the shield happily. Bappin hasn't done much wrong there. It's just timing. He got in and out as quick as he could there on the Ash to deal with that shield, which can help facilitate the Montang forward. But yeah, this is looking like a pretty good round for ANTIC.
Yeah, and they've reinforced back over side as well. This is a great read. Not a lot of hard breach options available here for Supernova.
They're triple stacked over towards Con, so you got no IoT pressure, you got no blue pressure, you got one player down below. Pinku hasn't really been able to do a whole lot other than just dealing with the Kaid claws. So there's not much pressure on ANTIC right now.
The one thing here that Supernova have up their sleeves is Pinku down below. Flashbang does briefly force the Clash back. Pinku below looking to try and kill that Clash through the floorboards from below.
Palarazzi is going to have to find another entry. They need to try and keep the clash over towards electrical and then get Palarazzi in through IT or rafters and then try and go for that back push. Get the pressure from multiple angles. There's 20 seconds left.
Yeah, almost no time. Big C4 goes out. No damage absorbed by Palarazzi, but he's already at half HP. And the 2 Barao Zotac canister is going to slow him down. Jake does lose his life. Good angle, though, from Box, who somehow wins that fight. Another one for Box. He steps up when he's needed. And, of course, they all just go into the meat grinder. Every player from Supernova has to go through the same doorway. And one by one, they fall. Easy defense for ANTIC.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the issue with command server, isn't it? It's such a difficult site.
That's why you got to breach the walls.
Yeah, well, I think the issue there for a large period of that round, you had triple stacking con and the Clash is just sitting there holding it in electrical. So why are you there? Why are you wasting so much time? I thought, you know, Pinku was doing a decent job down below. They had no pressure towards blue. They didn't really get Rafters control. It was a very lackluster attack from Supernova, where at no point did it really feel like ANTIC were under much pressure.
Yeah. I actually wonder if Supernova were hoping that ANTIC would try and re-aggress on that Buck, because I stand by the fact that Pinku on Buck was like the instrumental operator and position and role within that push. He's the one that's going to be clearing the Kaid Claws, the Zotac canisters, the Bandit batteries. He's the one that's going to be potentially threatening to kill that Clash from below or expose these site players. And ANTIC decided not to flank him because they thought Supernova were watching their flanks and banking on ANTIC's succeeding man advantage by pushing for it. And it was a gamble, but it worked out for ANTIC. I just felt like Pinku was way overloaded. He had to watch his own flank while doing 90% of the work for his team.
Yeah, and then also the Clash on that site's great because, you know, if you're the Montang and you say make contact towards electrical and the Montang's like, oh, well, I can't go through here, here's the Clash. The time it would take to rotate to blue or IT or anywhere else to find another entry point is enough time for the Clash to realize the Montang's gone and I'm going to go where he's going anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So on a site like Basement, you can't quite do that because it's a bit more open and there's more rotational paths up and below. So I like the fact that ANTIC aren't bringing the Clash, for instance, in this round. You want to be a bit more on the roam game, try and take the counter, the contact fights early on, counteract that way. Obviously for Supernova, they'll bring the Montang anyway.
Ooh. There's a bulletproof camera in IT, by the way. That's a very aggressive place to put it. I just noticed Scars was on it for a second. I mean, this is, like you said, instead of going for the Clash and the hard breach counter, like we saw in the previous round, ANTIC have got a much more well-rounded lineup. They got a bit of roam, they got a bit of wall denial, they got some aggressive C4 ability, and that's from Macy J. Okay, well, Scars uses his own bulletproof camera and his nitro cell to guarantee a kill. That's very nice, and it was the one in IT, in fact. I want to know where that bulletproof camera is, if we can get a look into it later from our observers. Might have been taken down now. Yeah, okay, I don't know that. I don't know where it was, but I guess it was there, yeah, I guess, is what our observers are saying. I guess it got C4'd by the C4. Well, cool rounds. Still, this roam is alive.
Yeah, it's the second round in a row, though, that I'm not... Oh.
Hello? Check your corners, man. Always check your corners.
Jake is that kind of guy as well.
He can blend in. He'll turn himself into a plant and just sit in the corner.
Yeah, it's a game of prop hunt here for Supernova. Here comes the Deimos. Now that is one way to try and track down Jay Kenner. But 2v5 on Basement, and I don't think we've got much of a breach here. Look at that. The double wall's still completely reinforced. And the only way to win this is Supernova just frag the F out, and that's just not likely to happen.
Yeah, I mean, the attacks right now on Labs, I said it like, oh my God. Have been quite stagnant from Supernova. It's only their second round, and both are on the primary sites, but not really seeing a lot that's going to suggest their ability to win this game.
Oh, this is a potential plant spot, though, from Prez. Like, this is the default plant spot when you go for this kind of a take. The smoke is going to gas it on out, and yeah, there's pretty much no way to make this one work. A very aggressive entry now from Dirty Desperate, and he goes down. Flawless round for ANTIC. Jakena very happy about that one.
TT in chat, come on, get the tactical timeout, talk things over. Big round coming up now for Supernova. You're going into the tertiary. This is where I'd call it. There's no point calling it after the fact. You're going into control storage, call the timeout, talk things over. Because it's honestly, you can lose the first two, James, and probably feel like, okay, we're
Antic
going all
did
right.
as well.
But they're really struggling on these attacks. They're not making the Montang feel threatening. I'm sorry, but Palarazi has been shocking on this Montang.
It does feel
To
like...
be fair, like Hunter wasn't super amazing either. There was some moments there where he lapsed in judgment, as great as he is, but the Montang has... Maybe Davey's onto something here. The Blitz is maybe better on
Look,
Nighthaven
you
Labs.
can pick the Blitz, and you're still going to die to Jakenna proning behind you if you don't check your corners.
That's absolutely right. So the basic fundamentals just aren't there at the moment. I like the Dockerby switch up, try and find some information here.
100%. Playing against rats, you hunt them down like a rat.
Got the Ash to deal with the mirror. I mean, this is a good lineup for Supernova, but who's going to be the one to actually push in, get these kills, clear out these areas? What are you going to do here? Are you going to clear top floor? Are you going to try and go for a storage push, somewhat similar to what Antic essentially did in the opening half?
Don't have a ton of hard breach, though. We've got Ace and then 2 Tincana openers on the buck. And if you want to breach this garage or warehouse wall, if you want to breach the IT wall to try and maintain control of the top floor, it really depends if Antic have reinforced the basement, because they're really typically where you would want to have one person enter down below or lurk down below for Supernova to make sure that there's no vertical C4 plants. I think Antic just have quite a good understanding of how to win this round. I mean, you look at the 4 C4s that they've brought. This bomb site really hinges on that plant denial. Aggressive run out from Jakenna. He loses his fight to President. Embarrassing. And well, that's 1 C4 down.
Yeah, I mean, you are the mirror, though. You've already kind of set your mirror windows, but unfortunate that you also give over the Dockerby cams now as well, hacked, and that's a big little... That's a win for Supernova, that's for sure. They do lose Palarazi.
Oh, that's a fair trade for defense, man.
Brother.
How do you lose that?
These Montangs have just been dying so easily on Nighthaven Labs.
Like this mirror setup, though, from Scars. Being droned out. There's a really nice long angle. This is not a common mirror. I'm surprised we don't see this one more often, but it can prevent the push in from electrical, can prevent the push in from the con wall. And they need Pinku to come on over and counter, and still this IT breach has not been touched. We haven't seen a single Thatcher pick from Supernova. Ouch! Big shot as Pinku goes down.
This round's over. This round's over.
I mean, the DMRs and the slug shotties have come to life. It's all up to Dirty and Bappin, and it just has not been nearly enough.
Systematically, though, when you look at control storage, it's the tertiary side, it's the weaker side. Good kill for Bappin, but they're playing it as if it's almost like Command IT, so then you're playing into all the strengths of the defense, whereas in the first half, Antic kind of hit more direct, really tried to play in towards storage, so we're not going to clear out Command, and therefore they were able to certainly catch Supernova off guard. 3 versus 2, under a minute remaining, low health on Bappin. I imagine there's a logic bomb. Yeah, one that has just gone out.
Antic know the win conditions, though. We just saw Chef Jeff still with the C4. I think he's the only remaining C4 on Antic. He's dropped down into the basement. I'm pretty certain that there is a bulletproof camera on site as well.
Maybe go for a backside control plant.
Yeah, that's the only option here for Supernova. And they need to frag out as well. 35 seconds. Castle Barricade makes it hard. Scars loses his life. This is very winnable.
Is he going to check this? Bappin, left side, tucked in. If he doesn't... Oh, they swing together, though, with Dirty. Both pushing into cargo. They get the kill. Suddenly, it's a 2v1.
Yeah. And like we said, there might not be enough information. Oh, this is beautiful, though. He does have the info, but the fake of the plan is perfect for Bappin. Now Dirty to cover with the SMG-12.
He knows where he's coming up as well.
Chef's got one as well, though.
Can't win
close
this.
range, such a devastating weapon. Looks the wrong way. Supernova steal the round they never should have won. Time to fire up, boys.
Yeah, if we have comms from Supernova, I really want to listen to the end of that, because that was a really good way to just readjust late round. The round is not going your way. Your Montang, irrelevant. Your hard breach, not there. No one can find a pick. We can't clear up above. And again, kind of reminds me of the first half as well, where I think it was Antic just changed up their win con and then changed up their approach. They were very versatile. I mean, like, J-Ken has been fragging out. You probably at that point you have the license. But at the end of the day, their ability to just change up from a 4v2, they bring it back. The way they're clearing and pushing together, like both sides of cargo, they're great pinch. What can you do against that?
Good shit!
And now they don't need that timeout, because you've won the tertiary site, you get your 5th round, now you get a couple of opportunities. In saying that, now we go to the primaries.
I think, the problem is I still might have considered taking the tactical timeout. It depends how much you want to let that momentum stay alive. Man, ANTIC are obsessed with hiding operators, bro. Supernova aren't picking it even when they do know what's up.
I think Jay Kenner's obsessed with hiding.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
hiding this pulse doesn't matter. Like, I mean, sure, go for it. It is a good strat, but I don't think Supernova have once like re-picked to try and counter the defensive lineup anyway. And Present has decided to rage quit anyway.
Yeah, so all that hiding for nothing is we'll go into a rehost. I mean, look, I guess for Jay Kenner, and I was going to say in the last round, Pulse is very good on this map because you can play storage, and from there you can get a lot of information. Depending if it is control storage, you can see if teams are just outside on the exterior, how many are there about to push in. But more importantly as well, from that position, you can see so much looking over towards like IT Breach, for example. And then not only that, you got a Nitro Cell too, so you can kind of play a bit of denial. You can do quite a lot with it.
I wonder if the reason why the Pulse was picked there from Jakenna is to counter the one operator that I said on that top floor bomb site on the attacking side had so much to do, and it was Pinku playing the Buck from below. So if you're Pulse in the basement,
that's true.
You can actually kill that Buck in almost 90% of the places that he would be playing, and often as the Buck, you're just standing there in one position doing your work on the floor. But of course, we're going to go for a quick rehost, so we'll be back in a minute to continue this game.
Tap, yeah, I want that. No lines, I don't cut back. Sweet, salty, and all that. Let loose, come get that. Can you play that back, back, back? Can you run that back, back, back? I'm trying to play that back, back, back. I want that. Hey, tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel it? Let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel that? Ooh, you feel that? Ooh, the real back. Ooh, I'm still that. Ooh, you catch that? Ooh, I guess that. The best back. Yeah, yeah. 30,000 up, I'm a pilot. Might jump out if I'm wildin'. Catch my flow, I'm so stylish. Tap, tap, real smooth. Can you play that back, back, back? Can you run that back, back, back? I'm trying to play that back, back, back. I want that. Hey, tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go. Got you tulips in a twist. Hand up boss like communist. No, I can never ever get back all the things I missed. But I'm that man, I think you got the gist. Got you tulips in a twist. Hand up boss like communist.
It's total calamity, total mayhem inside of the server. out of nowhere, they find their round back into their favor.
Holding up for the blood, the wave! And I think he might just find it!
And we're back, guys, here for ANTIC versus SUPERNOVA, and we're just a couple of rounds from the end.
Wait.
But the score is wrong, so we're
SUPERNOVA
probably
are
going to have to
5.
rehost here again. Sorry,
Hit the wrong
production
score.
guys. It's 5-4 at the minute in
5-4.
favor of SUPERNOVA. Yeah.
scores.
So, look, guys, welcome back. How are you feeling, Jake? I don't know. I'm having a great night.
I was having a great night, and then we entered into the rehost of Doom.
Amazing. Well, guess what, guys? We're going to get straight back into this game in about 3 minutes' time. Don't go anywhere. And we're back. Antic versus Supernova. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, 5-4 is the score. Supernova just barely leading. No tactical timeout was called, Jake, but we've had plenty of timeout at this point. Yeah,
we have, unfortunately. I don't know if it's really going to change too much in terms of the grand scheme of things, but Supernova technically winning before we go into this long rehost period. I would say definitely for Supernova, just an opportunity to kind of think, to themselves. I don't think they can talk as a team during the technical issues.
That's what I've been told in the past as well.
But you do get the ability to kind of just sit back, think about your own role. Someone like a Palarazzi or the Montaigne internally think and analyze how you're actually playing. We've lost one of the spectators.
Oh, that's fine.
The question is, which one is it? Have we still got
Apparently
Sky?
It was League Ops. What matters is that we still got... Yeah, we still got the pros on the sticks.
That's good. I see Sky over in the corner. He's got his controller. He's good. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up from all, mate. All right, roam clear time. We're on the top floor bomb site, and we actually don't have that buck that we talked about so much that Pinku really relied on last time. Also, Jake, you know how we were theory crafting about Jakenna hiding the pulse and all that? Well, apparently they don't have to stick the same operators when we go through technical pauses. So they've actually completely changed their operator lineup. Both teams have, in fact.
Is that so?
Well, particularly Antic. Like, there was definitely a pulse before, and now there is not.
Well, the round was not theoretically live because we hadn't...
I think we just got into action phase.
Yeah, but the DC happened before. I don't know. I don't really care. It's not really a big difference.
5 seconds to spare. Anyway, already a good opening pick. Boxes down, and that's the Tubarão.
Immediately, the big difference here with Palarazzi, and I think on a site like this, you kind of force into it, but you can't just waltz in through the map and get caught, right? You're holding doorways, you're holding positions, so I think this is going to be a round in which we will see Palarazzi live for a little bit longer, playing that con side. So I think, can they get IT opened up, go for a pinch? I'd like to see some blue pressure this time from Supernova. Last time they didn't really opt for it, and they've already dealt with the Tubarão. So certainly far better start to this round on the primary site for Supernova. 1-0 up. 60 seconds though, James, so the clock is ticking.
Yeah, and the awkward thing here is Supernova don't have IT breach open. They didn't bring the Thatcher. They didn't bring the Buck. It's going to be very difficult to get this wall open. And even in terms of vertical game, we don't have Deimos. We don't have Buck. It's just this Zoph. And so Supernova, while they have numbers advantage, well, time is ticking away, as you said, and I don't know if they're actually favored, especially not as Scars, who's been watching that angle for about 10 minutes, takes
They're all
down
electrical. It's a triple stack electrical. Like, what is this push right now from Supernova? It's so basic and one-dimensional. Hey, playing behind the Montaigne, but where's the pressure? Blue, IT, you never bothered to try and get the wall opened up. Instead, now you're all just going to walk in, if you even can, and then the defenders only have one angle to look at.
Yeah, 20 seconds left, and the only way that Supernova win this is just by winning gunfight after gunfight. There's no way to get into a safe plan position. Jakenna is just holding on to the very fundamental position here of Rafters. Kills all seem to go in favor of Antic. Prez to find one exit frag.
Shocking.
And yeah, no way into the map for Supernova.
It doesn't take a genius. Like, if you try and fit 3 people through a doorway, it's not going to work.
Yeah, we need a Thatcher. Like, guys, why is there no Thatcher being brought?
Get the breach opened up. If you want to play, and you certainly can. I think that a lot of the good teams that are able to take command and server do so by having a con-side push with an IT push as well. But you can't just triple stack electrical with no IT breach open up, no pressure. Very late flank over towards warehouse, sure, but you hadn't cleared anything. You don't have any pressure over there.
Not even a drone ahead of it to check if there's someone up there. There wasn't even anyone contesting the door. I mean, yeah, you need IT breach open or you need con breach open into side. Instead, they were just staring through mirror windows, getting pre-fired. A really rough round from Supernova. We still have not seen the Thatcher picked once in their entire attack half, despite Antic almost every single round running both the Kaid and the Bandit, and often the Tubarão as well.
I wonder if it's a case of confidence as well with the Montaigne, because it's a far safer bet to put your Montaigne towards electrical and play around it, because then the likelihood of someone flanking and getting killed from behind is so minimal. But if you send it towards blue, I think there's way more reward, but certainly more of a risk down that blue hallway, staring into sight that someone could flank from behind, go for a kill. Doesn't happen. 5-5, Antic, defense. I tell you what, OT could be beckoning as well, considering after this round, even if ANTIC win it, we go to the tertiary site, again, control storage, which will be far more accessible for SUPERNOVA. They bring the Monty again on Palarazi. At the end of the day, just because it's meta, James, doesn't mean you have to pick it, you have to play it. It hasn't been working out, but they keep doubling down.
Yeah. What's more important than playing the meta is playing...
Like, their whole lineup has not changed. This whole half, it is Ash, Buck, Montang. Every now and then you might flex the Dokkaebi and the Ace.
Yeah.
Need to be more versatile. On the flip side, ANTIC can just keep changing it up. You got Scars on the cap can now.
Shoot drones and fall back for Jakenna. He does so. On the Solus, he can now check where he's getting droned from. No one to cut him off here. I'd hate to see him get another kill from just ratting in the corner. The Lunchbox has shot another drone to try and protect his teammate. This castle barricade is also going to keep SUPERNOVA at bay for a bit longer as well. SUPERNOVA are quite slow here on this take. We need to see them accelerate this. We need to see them clear that ground floor. Top floor control is nice, but it certainly is not everything.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do this clear if you're SUPERNOVA, fair enough, especially on basement of this map. That's a great shot from Lunchbox. Dirty was not prepared to take that fight. He wanted to also get information. When the information was found, a bullet into the head, and you've lost your Dokkaebi. No logic bombs go out in this round for the remainder final minute, so that's going to ease things defensively for ANTIC. We'll get a replay of this one. So only the one logic bomb used, and then you don't have to now worry about that second one later in the round.
What's the intention here for a plant spot? It looks like maybe they will end up going for what many teams do for a default plant there in Animus, in Tank. Oh, here comes the push down. Also, this Ash could actually be really helpful, opening up some lines of sight. Box is now exposed, but no vertical pressure. Somehow, despite bringing that buck.
Oh, is there any EDDs as well on these doorways on site? Or were they mostly used up above? Not too sure. I haven't really heard many explosions around the map, so it does leave me a little bit curious. 30 seconds, down a player, hitting basement on labs. Never an easy feat. You got to play off this Montang, get him into the game, but you lose your Buck, you lose Bap, and that's a lot of firepower now off the board.
Yeah, and it does force Pinku to actually be an entry player instead of just a cut-off player. He can still cut this bomb site in two. He's about to get swung, but he's also getting flanked from Jakenna, and he un-ADSs at the wrong time. Quick kill there. ANTIC are in the driver's seat. A 4 versus 2 for them as Prez finds one, but big flank from Jakenna and Scars to deny the plan as well. As fundamental as it gets, straight up and down for ANTIC. No contest in that round.
Yeah, look, honestly, Chef Jeff is absolutely right. You are not the Monty. Like, he is struggling big time on having any impact for an operator that right now is the operator of the season, of the meta. The most banned operator that I think we've got, and it's available in this game, and he just can't make it work, can't have any kind of pressure. That's just the reality. It's harsh, it's absolutely brutal, but the Montang has not done anything for SUPERNOVA in this half.
Tactical timeout. We talked about taking this a couple of rounds ago when it was, what, 5-4?
It stalls out the whole team as well, because you kind of want to play behind it. You want it to be your linchpin. Get him off the shield, get a gun into his hand, get some chaos into this game. Like, shake it up a bit. You're going onto the tertiary control storage now. You don't really need the Montang as much.
Yeah. The one thing that's going for SUPERNOVA is that we're onto the tertiary site. This is the only bomb site they've won on their attacks so far. Is control room storage. Even this, though, did come down to a little bit of a clutch, right, Jake? I remember we thought ANTIC had it locked and loaded. They had the 3 versus 2. They dropped a player below to deny plant, but SUPERNOVA snuck into control room to win it in the post plant. Things do look grim here for SUPERNOVA, but I think there's a very real chance that they can push OT.
Yeah, I mean, it's tertiary site, right? So I agree. And coupled with the fact that Palarazi has gotten off the Montang and is now onto the Ying, great operator. I mean, honestly, I love Ying. Ying is so... Ying, Finka, Buck, we're rolling back the classics here. This is a good way. They keep changing things up. I actually don't know what they're picking anymore. In fact, they're just going to settle with the Buck and the Ash. Swap the Thermite for the Ace.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Yeah, and in the end, they actually stick with the same lineup throughout all that attacker epic. The only flip change is instead of the Montaigne, they're going with the Ying. That's it. That's the only change. That might be enough, certainly. You think about, though, where do they want to hit with these Candelas? Is it above? Do you want to use those Candelas to clear above? Because I don't think you necessarily need it for something like storage if you want to hit storage.
The danger with this bomb site is if you don't clear above and below and have pressure on the bomb site, then there are so many linchpin moments where you can lose the round.
Oh, this is good intel. Oh, this is so good. Wow. That would have just got fed over to Scar's freebie, and Palarazzi dead again. Don't even get a single Candela.
Yeah, Palarazzi's had a rough one for sure. And he's often playing those impact operators, the meta operators that you need to be not just played, but played well. And he struggled to do either of those things.
Logic Bomb, play off it, so Intercon from Bappin. He's the only one that really played off of that Logic Bomb. Dirty as well. No movement from President, no movement from Pinku. So again, they're not really getting good map control. Nitrosol out, little drop down from Hunter, but he doesn't get the kill. It just feels like the whole way through Supernova have been on the back foot.
Well, the downside here is that Hunter no longer has his Nitro for that late round plant denial. I'm not sure if ANTIC are even going to contest down below, at least not yet. Supernova are playing far too slow, though. They're still working on a little bit of pivotal map control. They haven't found any picks. They still haven't guaranteed that top floor. And Hunter finds his pick as well. I think that must have been through the floor, just using his pulse scanner, saw Bappin prone there in the corner, and just shoots him through that floorboard. It's exactly what happened.
So the lads on the couch before this game, what were they saying about attack, defense when it came to labs? Because I tell you what, the attack here for both teams has just been quite abysmal. It's been ultra defender-sided, as expected for myself. And yeah, this game's probably over because I don't think we've seen enough from Supernova to suggest they can bring back a 3v5. 60 seconds left.
It's desperate now. You've got Pulse and Solus both able to find that planter.
You haven't cleared
and deny
below.
it. Yeah, they haven't cleared below. They also haven't checked Jakena.
No.
Getting another rat kill.
Wow.
ANTIC are looking phenomenal here. Dirty in a 1 versus 4. He's going to have to ace up to keep his team alive. Jakena comes in, swings him. And an easy lockout for ANTIC after the rehost. 3 rounds straight and a dominant defensive half for them. 5-1 on the split. And 3 massive points on the board.
Very dominant defensive half, you put it beautifully there. I also think going back to their first half, they looked obviously far and away better than what we saw from Supernova. There were a couple of rounds in the first half that were far closer between the two teams. And it just kind of went Supernova's way, right? And they just got edged out a couple of those defensive rounds. That didn't happen in the second half. In the second half, it was just pure dominance from ANTIC. They deserved to win that. And I'm going to be honest, I think they deserved to probably win that like 7-3, 7-4. Like, they were far and away the better team. Hunter didn't even play to the best of his ability because he got stuck on the shield op instead of being able to just run around and gun. In the end, it was Jake Kenner and Scars to do that job.
Yeah, a bit of a messy game, but our runners-up from stage 1 have now put themselves in tied second place on the standing. Still a chance that they might slip by the end of the day, but of course, we'll let the desk break it down.
Not sure if it's a good idea or a bad idea to let us do that.
I just can't get over Xenox and the turtleneck. Like,
looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I like it. You don't like it. I feel like it's the Parker 101 back in the day. That was everything you needed to end up with a turtleneck. But look, Jake, I'll say it looks good. You look well put together with.
Well, you know what didn't look good?
Don't.
The attacks. And we said going into this game that attacking was key. I think Jake misconstrued my words there a little bit at the end. I never suggested that Nighthaven Labs was an attacker-sided map. I was purely making the point that both teams had very bad attacking win rates. In fact, even Vinny was surprised when we were talking about it during the game.
Yeah.
Worse than Odium. Like, it was quite dire heading into this game, the attacking strike rate from these teams. And clearly it showed. ANTIC get the result across the line off the back of 2 attacking wins, whereas Supernova are only able to get the 1 across the board.
Oh, a little bit of a...
Just one. And that round was not convincing at all. I think they
No.
ended up winning a 2v4 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
off some pretty bad play from
President
ANTIC.
got the opening kill in that round, so I think that goes about, explains it quite well.
you know what? We'll wrap that up because we've actually got one of the best interviewers in Australia. Oh, wait, it's Jake. Sorry, mate. Welcome into the show, Jake Kenner.
I was so excited. You said I was the best interviewer, bro.
Yeah, for
I was about to thank you, Manic.
I thought I got some. I heard different. Okay, they didn't tell me it was Jake Henner. I thought we were getting someone else. But look, at the end of the day,
Like who?
Nah, look. To be fair, I don't think I want anyone else at this point because we don't need more waffle on this
thank
show.
you, Manic.
That's okay, Jake Henner. That's okay. As long as you don't shout out my mum. If I ever hear my mother's name come out of your mouth, there'll be trouble. But Jake Henner, look, we can actually dive into this matchup. It was pretty important for us going into this because obviously second and third best from stage one, you know, yourselves, ANTIC, were the second best team. Well, I mean, yeah, kind of. But coming into this, there were a lot of questions around where the teams are at, where the rosters are sitting, and I guess just how the start of this stage has gone. Did you guys feel that same sentiment that this was an important match, or is this just another game for you? Was there any kind of conversation heading into it?
This match was very important, not because we're meant to be like the top 2 team or whatever. I don't even think we are. But it was very important that we do not lose to Palarazi, so glad we got the job done.
I'll back that up with another semi-serious question, Jake. What are your thoughts on the roster change that SUPERNOVA made? Obviously, Quixie out and Pinku in. Any thoughts on that change at all?
I know what happened, so I don't know how much I can say, but very interesting, to say the least.
Interesting good or interesting bad?
I think it's good for the other teams because I think Quixie was a decent player, but I think SUPERNOVA also thought it was good for them due to the internal reasons. Obviously, I know why, but I don't think they want me sharing it online. But I would say overall, it's better for the other teams, if I'm being completely honest.
Okay, and just we're moving in towards playoffs. Obviously, you guys are starting to make your way back up the table. Where do you guys think you're going to finish, and what are sort of like the key things you're going to work on coming into playoffs?
I think third is where we'll finish. I haven't even looked at the leaderboards, but I'd say that's what we went into the stage thinking, or at least I thought. And then things we need to work on is Lunchbox not sucking. That guy reeks right now, so he needs to be whipped back into form, I reckon.
Mate, he's only 18. Come on. But no, actually, on that, do you, like, I know you're probably going to give us some generic answer here, but do you think it's nerves for Lunchbox? Because I know many players, many teams in the region have spoken about him. Obviously taking the piss coming up to the league, but he has been a well-talked-about player. Do you think it's nerves or...?
Well, he himself says he's in a slump, so I think it's a mix of nerves plus no one does good in their first stage. Like, unless you're Spoit, who won a major, no one does good in their first stage. He's still learning a lot of things. Obviously, all of us have experience, so it's easy to pick on him. But at the end of the day, he can shoot pretty well, probably better than all of us, but he's never played comp before, so how is he meant to know anything? Yeah. So, like, it's easy for me to come up here and shit talk him, but it is harsh playing your first stage and no one does well, so it's just about gaining experience.
Jake Henner, the more we speak to you, the more mature you start to sound, and then you throw something weird in there.
I can turn it on, Manic. I can turn it on.
No, see, this is the problem. You sound really great, and then we get to the end of the interview when you get to say your final words, and that's where it all unravels. What have you got for us today?
Shout out Shan, shout out Paul, and special shout out to my Miliac Scars. Me and him dropped a bomb today combined, so yeah, shout out to my Miliac brother.
There we go. Well, short and sweet, Jake Henner. Lovely talking to you, mate. We'll speak to you soon.
Yep, see you guys.
Again, there's always an adventure with this man.
I mean, you joked about him being maybe not the best interviewee in the region, but
I don't know.
He's making a case for himself.
He is now.
Unironically.
He is now. I mean, after the first play day, I didn't know if I ever wanted him back on stream again, but he's redeeming himself. It's funny because, like, obviously we've only ever spoken to Jake Henner in a CS form lastly. Yeah. And for me, there was always a stigma around those interviews. I just knew what was coming. But unironically, he is dropping some really great knowledge bombs for us. He's actually supporting the region.
Yeah, super interesting because even like before the game, we were talking about their identity. You know, he can be a bit of a banterer in the lobby, even doesn't always look super serious, but then we get interviews like that and it seems like he really does care, and he does. He did back up his teammate there, Lunchbox, as he said. It is his first stage and he hit on a good point. He hasn't played comp before, so jumping in, there's so much going on during a round. When you're a new player, it's almost impossible to keep track of everything.
That's fair.
And yeah, I mean, obviously him and Scars had great games today. 100% cost for Scars on 18 and 6. is basically a hard carry from the two boys.
Yeah, from a 12-rounder as well, mind you.
12-rounder, and honestly, yeah, just spells disaster for Supernova at the moment. Pinku had a really good defensive half at the start, and I think that's sort of the way he likes to play, is that he likes to take gunfights on his own terms, and on defense it's a lot easier than attack, especially with a team that's got like a 20, it'd be lower than 24 now.
Yeah.
Lower than 24% attacking win rate.
Yeah, it's tough.
Prez equal top frag. I mean, he's playing Warden, Kaid, Mute. He had like 1 Thorn round defense, and then attack he's playing hard bridge. Like, it's just not acceptable for him to be top frag.
So, yeah, so then on that point, how we were talking earlier, like, the better that, what Sage said, the more of an IGL you are, the harder it is to play in game. Maybe because he's playing so well, he's not really doing much of the calling like he normally does.
We
He's
can
too
only
locked in getting
speculate.
kills.
Yeah, that's right.
What was your excuse when you used to play, Paul? And on that note, we'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere.